All right, what's going on, everybody? I'm Blitz5, and I hope you guys are doing well. And in today's video, we're going to go through the patch notes for update 20.2, which is a tradition on my YouTube channel. And I have some bonus Vikendi information at the end, so stay tuned for that so you guys get some information about when Vikendi may be coming back, when we think it's coming back, and some leaks with some new skins regarding that. Before we get into that, I also just want to mention that for the month of November, I am participating in Movember, where I am growing this beautiful mustache for the entire month without shaving it to raise awareness for men's health, specifically men's mental health and men's prostate health. And I'm going to put up a link in the video and also in the description box below if you guys are interested in checking out my page and contributing to the goal that we've set up. I have my individual page, but we also have a Blitz5 and Friends page that I've been promoting during my stream over at twitch.tv/Blitz5 and Friends. And listen, I'm not trying to raise $1 million here or ask you guys for a lot, but if you have an extra $1 or $2 or $3 that you would like to contribute towards men's health, please consider doing it. Any amount helps. Please check out that link for more information. In this update, I think it's important right off the bat to just tell you guys that this isn't a major update, and the last two updates have definitely been quality of life updates. However, it's sort of expected because over the last year, PUBG's put so much content into the game that's kind of a hard cycle to continue following with so much new content. And I think the takeaway here is that PUBG is just fixing a lot of things, which a lot of players want, and also listening to community feedback here. We're going to see multiple examples of that in this update, which for me is a great thing to see that PUBG is doing that a little bit more. So here is the maintenance schedule right now. This is available on the PTS for PC only, as usual. It's Wednesday the 9th live on PC, and then the 17th on console. It's always 8 days after for Xbox and PlayStation. And also a reminder, if you are one of the rare few on Stadia, that service is going away in the next couple months, I think in the end of January next year, or this upcoming year. What's interesting here is this is another time. This is a pretty new feature for PUBG where they're switching the map rotation or the map pool for your region. So regions in Asia, Korea, Japan, they're going to have Erangel, Myanmar, Taego, Sanhok, and Destin. When in North America, Europe, South America, Oceanic region, and Russia, they're going to have the same playlist, but instead of Sanhok, we're going to have Karakin. And you know, this has been talked about a lot because in Asia, it seems like they prefer different play styles and different maps. Like they prefer Sanhok over America, allegedly. I put a poll up on Twitter to ask people in North America and EU, what map do you prefer more? And right now, it looked like Sanhok was still winning. I haven't checked this morning, but they were still winning Sanhok was still winning as of last night. And, you know, it's interesting because people are still very confused about this whole process. Even if the maps go away and you're frustrated, they're coming back in the next month or 2 or 3. PUBG has too many maps now, so they have to rotate them in and out. So if one of your favorite maps goes away, don't worry, it's going to come back. It's a bummer that PUBG took out Destin instead of Myanmar. They had switched that. But it is what it is. Hopefully PUBG will continue to keep rotating all of the maps except for Erangel, and I hope they will in the future rotate Myanmar. That's just my personal opinion on that. And then here's the first example of PUBG listening to community feedback here. This has been an issue I've had for a while, and it honestly seems like it's got progressively worse over the past year, was the vehicle situation on Erangel, or at least the way they spawn. I play fairly often, and there would be sometimes I know where a lot of the vehicles spawn in PUBG. So the way that works is that the vehicles have a percentage chance of spawning in all of the spawn locations. So if you play a lot, you know, like, okay, a car sometimes can spawn in this area next to this compound, for example, right? Or outside of Ferry Pier or Pachinki, you might know off the top of your head where some of the vehicles have a chance of spawning. But there's some games where I would visit 10, 15, 20 potential spawn locations in an area and not get a single car. And in the past, PUBG wanted to keep it this way. Like, you can't find a car, it's part of surviving. But 5 years into PUBG, not having a vehicle is so detrimental to your game. It slows down the game, makes it frustrating and hard to rotate. The game has just changed a lot from a slow game to a more of a fast-paced game, and not having a car is a huge problem. That, in my opinion, really kind of derails the gameplay a little bit. So they are listening to the community here and adding or increasing the land vehicles for Erangel. We're seeing that with the US, the Dacia, but then we are seeing a decrease in the Aqua Rail, the boat, and also the buggy by 11%. The buggy obviously is not the best vehicle. And then on Myanmar, also getting a little bit of an increase on the the vehicles as well, which in my opinion is a huge help. I mean, these aren't huge numbers, but I like that. And then PUBG explained that they're listening to feedback here. There's a dev comment, which I really like. We're seeing the patch notes and then a dev comment on top. And then here's something interesting and that people have been frustrated with is the application of vehicle skins. With the launch of the McLaren, you now have to apply your skin and it does this action. And then now they've added it where all of the skins, you need to apply the skin and it does this like 2-second action. So they've reverted this for regular skins. So the only skin that you still need to do this action, this crafting action, is for the McLaren or any special skin upcoming. But you still need to hit a button to apply the skin, but now it's instantaneously. So I saw a lot of people, including Wacky Jackie and myself, just say that obviously we'd like to just go back in time to where you get in the vehicle and it changes immediately, because it's just another thing you have to think about. But this is a better step back to the way it was. And hopefully I'll have some footage that you guys can see the difference now. It's not terrible, but it's fine. And then the folded shield is a new implementation over the past year that PUBG put into the game. If you guys haven't used it, I understand why. It's heavy and it takes a while for you to equip it, to activate it. It took like, I think 3 seconds to put it down on the ground. So now PUBG has increased or buffed this weapon. It weighs less, blocks more damage, but one grenade will still take it out. So that's kind of a bummer. And the installation time has been cut in half to 1.5 seconds. But again, it's still not really going to be usable. Like if you're getting shot in the middle of a field, 1.5 seconds, you still could get headshot activating it. But this will make it way more usable. And I feel like we'll see. It might need to be like an instantaneous item to actually see it be used more often. I feel like it would be better if it was instantaneous, but then had some nerfs somewhere else. Maybe you can't pick it back up, because that is a new feature now that you can pick it back up into your inventory. But to me, I'd rather have it faster and then have less features on the back end so you can actually use it if you get caught in the middle of a field or something like that. And then here, PUBG is reducing the maximum amount of care packages on Taego, which makes sense to me. The care packages are so much fun, but they don't need to be 15. It doesn't even really need to be 10, to be honest. Like 5 is fine. Some people, some really good teams really just abuse that and get completely kitted out and destroy the rest of the lobby. Then the food truck being nerfed slightly has a ton of help, so just removing a little bit of that. And then a problem that a lot of people have been suffering from for a long time now is the extra footsteps that you hear on yourself, or allegedly you hear. I feel like I hear this all the time. You are walking, you stop moving, and then you hear a couple extra footsteps. I don't know, it could be a placebo, but a lot of people mention hearing this in game. It seems to be some kind of issue, like a kind of lagged footstep. And to help fix this, it says that the footstep sound is going to be decreased as you stop running, sprinting, which I like to see, because that is kind of weird. You get very paranoid in PUBG when you hear those extra footsteps, especially if you're playing in solos. And then another quality of life update is the matchmaking system. And this is an interesting one because there's a lot of hidden things behind the scenes that we don't know about. So I'm going to read this first and then try to explain a little bit for people that might not be aware of what's going on here. So PUBG is changing the way that you get placed into a match. From before, they said that previously, until now, when you get into a squad match, the game would take the average rating of all of your squad, all 4 players of your squad. And this is in a casual match, not a ranked match. You do have a hidden rank with your player. It would take the average of that and then put you into the game with the best fitting players. And then now they're changing that to the party's highest MMR ranking. So the player who has the best ranking will be used when you're searching for a lobby. So the issue with this is that most games have some kind of MMR rating, and a lot of people asking what this is. This is your matchmaking rating, and this is for casuals, not just for ranks. So you have, most games, players have a hidden rating so that they can be matched against other players. However, if there's not a lot of people on, this can't work accurately because they're just trying to match you with a lobby. So it's very situational, and it also depends how many players and also how many buckets there are. You know, in a game like Call of Duty, there could be 100 buckets because there's so many players. There could be like super high tier all the way down to super low tier. But in PUBG, we don't know. It's all hidden. It could only be 2 buckets. It might be like low level and high level. It could be 3, it could be 4, it could be 5. I mean, who really knows? They're not giving us a ton of information here. They're just letting you know it's going to switch. And I'm curious to see how that's going to affect the game going forward, if it's even going to make a big difference or not, and how that will work. We'll see. I think right now, PUBG is just trying to keep good players out of lobbies that will contain bots and stuff like that, and leave that for newer, lower ranked players, which I think is a good idea if that is the case. And they do a little bit of dev feedback here. They basically were just saying that they're trying to overhaul the matchmaking system, and that they want some players to have more of a casual environment so they can test new things out and experience more kills. So I think they're trying to flip that. And if that works, I feel like that would be a huge success for PUBG, because it's such a tough game. They need to have players have a chance that are newer to the game to learn and stuff like that, at least in my opinion. Then we have a Neymar collaboration, some changes to leaderboards. We can skip that. And then some new items in the workshop here. These were in a survivor pass that you could earn. I think you can buy them now straight up. And then these new items. And then now there's new craftable items. So this is a new feature in PUBG where you can craft like limited skins or special skins that are only available in the crafting section. These are them. The one on the right is pretty cool. I might go for that. The one on the left is kind of basic for me. And then a bunch of bug fixes here as the typical quality of life update, or really with every update, we're seeing some bug fixes. So Vikendi was not in this update. And that was a bummer. A lot of people were hoping for that, but it looks like it's going to be coming in the next month, in December, in the next update, which will be 21.1. And that is when there's going to be the next Survivor Pass. So the McLaren Survivor Pass is ending. There's going to be a lapse in Survivor Pass, no Survivor Pass for the month, which I think is a major fail for PUBG. And then in December, we will receive the return of the Survivor Pass, and almost certainly the return of Vikendi, which is being reborn. And then today, this morning, we had a leak, which I'm going to show you guys the skins here, of some new skins in that update. So not the next update, but the one in December. And this is from a user goes by the name of Sapphics and does put out a lot of PUBG leaks. And in their tweet, they mentioned here that these aren't official renderings of the items. So the snowmobile might not be the same, but there is a snowmobile skin in the next in the following December update, or in the next Survivor Pass. I'm not sure which one specifically, alluding to the fact that we're most likely going to see Vikendi, and this new update may have more snow. It must have more snow if they're going to be bringing back the snowmobile. So again, this is all alleged, and this is not final, but this is very interesting leak, because I really want to see the return of a snowy Vikendi, and I would love to see the snowmobile back in PUBG, and also the snow bike, or either both, or either or. It was just a really fun addition to the game, even though they weren't great. I think it needed to be improved upon, maybe be faster, because it was so open and slow at the time. But that's what made Vikendi such a fun map, was the snow elements and making it so much different than the other maps in the game. So I really hope that PUBG does something interesting with that. And then some following leak skins here. More holiday themed skins, which to me really shows that, you know, PUBG is going to be doing a holiday Survivor Pass, most likely, or Battle Pass. And again, the return of Vikendi, like we mentioned. So I cannot wait. Vikendi is one of my favorite maps of all time. Very interested to see what they did with it. This is like the third or fourth kind of rework of Vikendi, so I'm a little nervous. I hope they don't mess it up. But that's it. That's the information. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, thank you for watching. I'm Blitz5, and peace out.